Today I wanted to speak about erectile dysfunction, and I put a quote in my earlier notification that erectile dysfunction, ED, is an invitation to heal yourself from inside out. And that is something that I heard from a podcast I listened today on men's sexuality, and I thought that was a brilliant statement, and I really resonated with it. What that really means is when clients come to me with erectile dysfunction, and for those of you who don't know what that is, it is inconsistent erections that men experience during sex. So when men come to me with this issue, with this obstacle, there are so many various causes of why this happens to them, and besides the obvious. So the obvious are such that stress at work, or lack of sleep, or maybe there is a physical handicap, or maybe pelvic floor issue, or spine issue that can cause that, or perhaps that's related to some type of illnesses like overweight, diabetes, blood pressure. Sometimes men take medications that affect their erections. These are the obvious reasons, and of course when a man finds himself in this situation, he goes to see a doctor, and once there are no like really big issues around it or reasons for that, the doctor prescribes Viagra or testosterone shots. And I am really against that. Of course, Viagra sometimes helps, but it's like, never go to that place. I recommend never do that. Testosterone shots, they may be helpful after a certain age. Some men need some boost, but not when you're in your 40s. So I'm going to speak about the not so obvious causes of ED, and when men come to me, I help them to uncover those, and then we work on this whole holistic picture of how we can identify those and eradicate those or heal those. So the first one is obviously mental. And a lot of men, when come to me, they're like, oh, this is a mental issue. I'm like, probably, but let's go deeper, let's look deeper. So mental is when a man experiences during sex a couple of, failures, so to speak, right? And immediately he starts to ruminating in his head that something is wrong with him. Maybe his penis is broken. Thanks. But really, the more rumination is going to happen, the more anxiety is going to happen in the body. Now, obviously, when you are stating to yourself in your mind, I'm not going to get hard, I'm not going to get hard, I'm not going to get hard, that's the message that you're giving to your penis. Penis, don't get hard. And that's what happens. This is the mental. And there is a way to heal that if you don't ruminate in your head for forever. The second piece is the emotional. And I've spoken about it in my previous Facebook Live, that men are so not connected to that, to the emotions, and they have hard time feeling, a lot of men, not all. So that shame around some sexual situation or guilt that a man might be experiencing around relationship, or some type of he has like a anger that he's repressing within himself, that he's not allowing himself to feel, can also affect his hard-ons. So I'll give you an example. I have this client, he graduated my program. He came to me, and no judgment on him. He came to me because he had erectile dysfunction. At the same time, like, I asked him the whole, what is his relationship situation? He is married, he has 2 children, he's been married for 20 years. His wife is his best friend, and she's a fantastic mom, but sexually, they did not have any connection in that way. So he has been cheating. He has had an affair for 20 some years with another woman. Obviously, that can cause a lot of heaviness for a man's body to keep this as a secret, to be swimming in this guilt that man experienced. And that obviously affected his erection. So interestingly enough, he only had that issue with his lover, with this woman he was having an affair with, because they had some type of entanglement around her not trusting him, and then, he eventually didn't trust her either. So there was a lot of heart and emotional entanglement there, and he did not have hard-ons with her. Eventually, what happened, because we untangled this whole thing and uncovered it all, he was so proactive and also at the same time extremely aware of what he needed to do. He broke up with that woman that he has been having an affair with, and had a conversation with his wife and confessed his affair. And God bless that woman, because she is a true angel, and she forgave him, and she wanted to work on this thing with him and on the relationship going forward. She wanted to get more into intimacy together and explore together. And when this man was sharing with me about the situation, he felt lighter. And then he told me that he no longer has erectile dysfunction. He has absolute trust with his wife, absolute acceptance from her. Because if one confessed an affair of 20 years, there's a lot of love this woman must have towards this man. This is an example of how the emotions and trust and guilt and all these things get to affect a man and his erectile and his hard-ons. Another piece, of course, is porn addiction. And when man masturbates to pornography over and over and over and over again, that desensitizes him. This means that in his fantasy world, he's in the fantasy world, and whenever he comes to have sex with his partner, he's no longer turned on by this vanilla sex, right? Vanilla sex. He wants something he's been seen in porn movies. So he will be fantasizing and he will not be present just to make himself hard, right? And so in this case, the solution is let go of freaking porn, and synthesization will happen once a man will start to connect deeper in a meditative, through meditations to his body, right? So this also has to do with neuronal connections that man has when he's masturbating to porn. His wiring is working one way. When he starts to learn different ways to arousing himself and, touching himself differently, not using fantasy, but rather like feeling for the sensations in the body, he'll start to establish new neuronal connections. And that will take some time, obviously, to get to that place. But it is a process. And so a lot of times when men come to me and I give them a meditation to do, or a body scan, or self-pleasure, which is a holistic self-pleasure, at first they don't find themselves being aroused, being erect. And I say to that, well, yeah, that's totally okay. You won't feel anything in the beginning. Your body needs some time to adjust, to recalibrate, to get used to a different way of touching. So these are all the causes which I mentioned. Yes, it's mental. Yes, it's psychological. Yes, it's emotional. Yes, it's porn induced. Yes, it is lacking the awareness of the sensations, which is, emotional and sensational are connected. So I do think that, and in my program that I do with men one-on-one, we go through all this inner journey. Oh, another reason why men find themselves in that place, and I believe that would be emotional, is when their partners, their female partners, are emasculating them. They're cutting their balls. How? By talking to them in an abusive way, or setting pressure on their husbands where they need to perform sexually, or there is some other relational situation. I've had clients have come to me who had this situation as well, when women were extremely demanding, abusive, in some ways portraying being in a polarity of masculine, rather, or toxic masculine. And that caused for men to retreat and feel emasculated. So energetically, that is another reason that can cause ED for men. So men, never let your woman speak with you in an abusive language, and put your foot down, express your leadership. Don't be a pleaser or a nice guy. So these are all the things about ED and how erectile dysfunction can be a calling. It's actually a calling of your body. Hey, man, pay attention. There is something here I want you to notice about yourself. Become more aware. Heal your emotional issues or whatever it is. There is a message. And in my program that I do one-on-one with clients, that's what we go through. And I'm going to teach that in an online course that I am launching right before the Valentine's Day. So all the information about the online course you will see in the upcoming few weeks. In the meantime, please sign up to my email list on my website, and you will receive all the information that you need to know about the upcoming online course, because I will be teaching and giving practices on erectile dysfunction and premature ejaculation, how you can be a better lover, how you can last longer, and how you can experience all this pleasure in your body. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Until the next time.